Hey everybody. I want to give you some suggestions and instructions on how to customize this app that I gave you last class. Some of you have had some really good questions about how to do things effectively. So I've identified three things that I want to accomplish. So those things are, I want to try renaming the role property to job title. So I'm going to start with that one. You may want to do that just because maybe role isn't clear enough. You want to change something within your app to just change the name everywhere to make it more descriptive. So the way you want to do this is, probably the most efficient way anyway, is to use the find in project command. So you go up to the find menu and you go to find in project. And so I'm going to just type in role and hit enter, and it's going to find all of the instances of that word role everywhere in the project. So if I click here, this takes me straight to a role right here, and I could manually change these to job title because that's what I want this to be everywhere. And so just to make that a little bit smoother, I can copy it, and then I can go one by one and just see if I truly want to change these names everywhere. So let's highlight that, paste that like that, and now it's called job titles, and I can keep going through, and in place of role, paste job title. Okay. Now, as you might expect, this is going to get a little tedious, and there is a way to do this. So the other way that you can go about this, instead of manually going through everything, is using the find and replace in project. So you can again type role, hit enter, and it'll give you all of these. And so what I could now do is change that to job title. If you know for sure that it's just going to work, you could do replace all right here. And so everywhere in the project where something is called role, it's going to replace it with a job title. I'm going to replace it one by one because there are places where this might cause a problem. So I'm going to try it out. So I'm going to do one by one. I'm going to first choose this one, and I'm going to say replace, so it automatically does that one. Let's go to this one, replace that. Now here is where things get a little bit tricky, and that is I have a text input that is called role text input. And so I'm not actually sure if this is going to work, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to do replace and see what happens. So that did seem to change the name here. It's giving a little bit of a warning here, which is what I was afraid of. So I'm going to undo that one. Oh, I can't. Oh well, I'll address that one in a minute. Let's take a look at the role thing. So it does actually give me a place here. I can replace that, and it changes to job title. And I'm just going to manually up here switch that around. So that's job title. And then everywhere else, I again am going to replace it right here. Job title. Oops. Do replace. Okay, it's not letting me. What is the problem? Role text input. That is not working specifically because notice that we got that warning a little bit ago in the storyboard. That's probably what's happening here. Just move ahead, replace it there, replace it here, and maybe replace that there too. So all of these are going to have problems probably with that warning before. So job title. If I go here, this is complaining. Why is this complaining? Result job title in grade. Let me look here. Job title. So it's complaining about all of these. I'm going to try compiling it and seeing if it works, because sometimes that fixes some of the issues. Okay, so it's still not happy about that. Oh, wow, it worked. Okay. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see if I get the behavior I want. Okay, so it now says job title. It looks like everything is working. Let's just try adding in someone new, a grade 10. Let's make them a musician for whatever reason. And let's see if, I don't know, maybe Mr. Hendrickson wants to join in. So it looks like that works. This is great news. So that is a way that we can change all the names simultaneously using find in project and replace. Okay, so next thing on the agenda is the idea of adding a property of nickname. Okay, so just sort of thinking about it, not only do you have a name, you have the grade in there and your role, but maybe you want a nickname as well. And it's not, right now, our app doesn't have this property. So again, there are a bunch of places that we're going to need to update this. This one, just off the top of my head, I can't think of an efficient way to do it right now, aside from saying that anywhere that I am perhaps setting a value of the name or the role somewhere, I'm probably going to want to introduce this nickname as well. So to start, I'm going to go to the storyboard, and in order to add another input here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, I'm going to go up to this up here, and I'm going to get another text field, okay? And I'm going to drag it, if it will let me, into here. Now, I am dragging this into the stack view, which means it's a little bit more complicated to set up in the beginning, but if I take this and I just drop it into the field, it automatically adjusts the space of everything else. It's really nice. That's the benefit of using a stack view. So I'm going to put in nickname as the placeholder text, and I can also set that that's in the middle. All right. The next thing to do, I need to get myself a little space here, is that I need to add that text box to my project. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to do Control Drag again, just right into there. And I'm going to name this nickname text input, following my convention. Okay, so now that is in there. Okay, so that's the first place. That takes care of the UI side. The next thing that I need to do is I'm going to hit Command S to save, and I'm going to go to team member, because I know I want to introduce this property as a property of the public class team member, of my source class that drives everything else. So I'm going to add in a new variable. I'm going to call it nickname, and I'm going to make that a string. Okay, so I'm going to hit that there. I know that in my list view, there are also going to be a few places that I need to add this. So let's look and see, is there anywhere in here where I am using properties? What is this warning? Temp team member dot job title. Interesting. So this is complaining because there's nothing called job title in the original app. So I'm going to actually go to app.delegate.swift. Let's see here. Let me try saving it. So right here, before I try saving it, this is one place where I start going in and defining all my roles. So this is a place where I'm going to add in that nickname, and I'm going to just leave that as an empty string right now, because it's possible that not everybody has a nickname. So I'm going to leave that there. All right, I think that's everything in this file. Should be the only place I need to adjust that. Everything looks good. Let's go to our list view now. So I will now take a look at this and see if there's anywhere where I am setting properties on the team member. This seems to be the only place. So right now, I'm not going to display the nickname. I'm just going to leave everything the way it is and see if I can get it to work. So let's go to Add Edit View Controller now. And when we save data, this is one place where we have to get information from the text box. We just added a new text box. So I'm going to add a property that is nickname. And it pops up there. And I'm going to make that equal to, it starts giving me that. So nickname text input is what I'm looking for, because that's what I created up here. So nickname text input. So let's actually get that. Nickname text input. It's going to pop up. I'm going to put that as .text. Okay. So now we are adding the nickname to the collection. I think that's the only place where that's an issue. Okay, the last thing I need to do is in this part where I am feeding in the data to a selected team member, the current team member, I also want to make it so that the nickname text input gets as its placeholder text. I'm just going to be a little bit lazy and copy and paste very carefully. This text is going to be not the job title, but it's going to be the selected data.nickname. Okay, so let's see if it works. So everything is looking good so far. Now let's see if I can edit that nickname property. Let's click on my row. So far I don't have a nickname, but let's put in the boss in quotes and see what happens. If I hit submit, does it work? Okay, if I click on Mike, Mike does not have a nickname yet. But if I go back to me, there is my nickname. So it looks like this is now working. So next thing, now that I know that I'm correctly saving the nickname, let's display it. I know that I am displaying things in the list view controller. And so what I'm going to do is go up to the place where, right here, where I set content of the cell to match the attributes of team member. I'm not really using the nickname property yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some string interpolation, and I'm going to make it so that the name comes first. Okay, and then if there is a nickname, I'm going to put it right here. Okay, so if there's no nickname, nothing is going to be put in here. If there is a nickname, it's going to appear right next to the name. So let's run that. Okay, now we have a whole bunch of messy stuff happening here. The reason that happened was I did not include an exclamation point, which that exclamation point makes it so that it's not an optional anymore. It's not an optional property. And when you print something out like this using string interpolation, you usually need to do that. Let's see if that actually solves the problem. Good. Now you'll see that my nickname right now is gone, but that's because every time we reload this, we lose that text. Submit that. Notice it says Evan the boss, but no one else has a nickname right now. So none of those nicknames are showing up. Let's give Chris the driver a nickname, and let's say pedal to the metal. Submit. Now it says Chris, pedal to the metal. So all of this is now working. All right. Thanks for watching.